Are you really going to that meeting again tonight? I asked, peering over my coffee mug. Lena glanced up, lips twitching into a polite smile. Yeah, work calls. You know how it is. I tried to keep my voice steady, but it's late. You've been leaving a lot recently. She waved me off. I'm fine, really, don't worry so much. I swallowed hard. Her eyes didn't meet mine. Just like last week, just like the week before. I worry because I care, I muttered, stirring my drink. She leaned back, pretending to check her phone. I know, I need some space sometimes, that's all. I laughed nervously, though the pit in my stomach grew. Space, right, always space. I tried to make it a joke, but it landed flat. Lena's smile softened. You always overthink. You know that. I know, I admitted, voice low. But I can't help it. I just like knowing everything's okay between us. She shrugged, tapping at her phone. Everything's fine. Honestly, you stress too much. I wanted to press, to ask who she was texting, why her smile seemed forced, but I didn't. Instead, I sipped my coffee in silence, listening to the faint buzz of the fridge and the distant hum of traffic. Did you see Alex today? I asked, trying to distract myself. He mentioned a new project at work. Sounds exciting. Lena's fingers froze over her screen. Yeah, sounds interesting. Something in her tone made my stomach twist. I didn't say anything though. I just watched her, noting the way she kept checking her messages, the quick sigh she tried to hide. You're quiet today, she said finally, glancing at me. Everything okay at work? Yeah, just tired, I guess. I lied. You know how it is, she nodded, scrolling again. Yeah, same here. Long week. I caught the corner of her smile and wanted to believe it was genuine, but my gut whispered otherwise. I cleared my throat. I've been thinking, maybe we could go out this weekend. Just us, no distractions. Her eyes flicked up, and I swore I saw hesitation. I'd like that, really, but, let's see, we'll talk later. Later, I asked, trying to mask the sting. Like when? She shrugged, slipping her phone into her bag. I'll let you know, don't worry. The words sounded simple, but they carried a weight I couldn't shake. Something was off, and I knew it. I didn't know what yet, but the feeling pressed against my chest, like rain clouds ready to burst. I forced a smile. Okay. Later. Then. She leaned over and kissed my cheek lightly. Later. I watched her leave, door clicking shut behind her, and the apartment felt colder than before. I sank onto the couch, running a hand through my hair. Why do I feel like something's coming? I whispered to myself, the messages on her phone, the late nights, the secretive glances, they didn't add up. But I pushed it aside, telling myself I was just being paranoid. I always worried too much. Yet, even as I tried to convince myself, a shadow of unease lingered. Something in Lena's smile, something in the way she avoided my eyes, hinted at secrets I wasn't meant to know. Not yet. I curled up on the couch, staring at the ceiling. It's fine, I muttered. Everything's fine. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. I had never felt my world tilt so violently. My phone buzzed again, another notification from a friend I barely trusted with gossip. But this one would change everything. Dude, you need to see this, Alex said over the phone, voice shaky. I didn't want to believe it either, but it's Lena. I froze. What are you talking about? There's a post, pictures her, with someone else. I laughed, bitter and nervous. No, that can't be true. You're joking, I swear. I wouldn't lie, His voice faltered. I thought you should know before anyone else did. I grabbed my laptop, hands trembling. My heart pounded like it could break ribs. Send me the link. Moments later, there it was. Lena, smiling at someone else, someone I didn't. No arms wrapped around him, close, intimate. My chest tightened. I don't. This can't be real, I whispered. With him, right there. You can see it. I replayed the image in my head, over and over, like a cruel film loop. My mind refused to believe what my eyes had seen. This isn't real. She wouldn't do this to me. Not Lena, man, I'm sorry. I know you loved her, Alex said softly. I slammed the laptop shut, the sound echoing in my empty apartment. Love, was it all a lie? My voice cracked. Did I mean nothing to her? A sharp knock at the door startled me. Who is it? I barked. It's me. Lena's voice called through, casual, too casual. Can we talk? I opened the door slowly, trying to make sense of her presence. Her smile was there, but it felt forced, fragile. Talk, I asked, disbelief dripping from every syllable. About what? About you. With him. She blinked. I don't know what you're, don't lie. I shouted, stepping back. I saw the pictures, Lena. I know everything. Her eyes widened, but then she recovered that practiced calm. It's not what you think. I laughed, bitter, short. Not what I think. My girlfriend is smiling in someone else's arms, and it's not what I think. It was complicated, she stammered. Complicated, I repeated, voice rising. You hid this from me, you lied. All those nights you told me you were working late, that you needed space. Was it him you needed space for? I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. Hurt me? I took a step closer, shaking. You shattered my heart. Do you even know what that feels like? She looked down, silent for a moment. I thought I could figure things out, and I made a mistake. I'm sorry, I laughed, hollow, sorry. Do you have any idea what that word even means right now? The doorbell rang again. Alex, of course. I opened the door a crack. You're too late. I already saw it. I wanted to make sure you didn't. His voice trailed. Man, I can't even imagine. I'm so sorry. I shut the door on him, leaning against it, my chest heaving. I trusted you. Every word, every promise. I can't believe this. Lena stepped closer, her eyes pleading. I never wanted to hurt you. I swear. I spat the word like acid. You swore everything. And now I'm supposed to believe that swearing doesn't mean anything. She backed up slightly, voice quivering. I don't know. I thought you'd understand. I understand. How could I understand betrayal like this? I screamed. I loved you. I gave you everything. And this is what I get. Silence filled the room for a moment. Even her breathing seemed loud, unnatural. My mind raced memories of laughter, touches, promises, all of it flashing and twisting into a nightmare. I can't do this, I whispered, voice breaking. I can't just forgive and pretend it didn't happen. She swallowed hard. I guess I deserved that. You guess. I took a deep, shuddering breath. Do you know what I feel right now? I feel like I've been punched in the gut, like someone ripped my chest open, and you stood there smiling somewhere else while I loved you like a fool. Her eyes glistened. I didn't mean to, don't, I yelled. Don't say it. Just go. She left silently, the click of the door echoing like a gunshot in my ears. I sank to the floor, hands covering my face. How did it come to this? I whispered. Alex called again, voice cautious. You're okay, man? I shook my head, voice muffled. No, I'm not. She's gone. She was never really here. You'll get through this, he said softly. I can't let this break me, I murmured to myself. I can't, I will. I have to be stronger than this. And in that moment, broken, betrayed, and bleeding inside, I made a silent vow. I would not let her betrayal define me. Not now. Not ever. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the photo on my nightstand. Lena, smiling at me, holding my hand as if nothing had happened. My chest tightened. How could I have been so blind? I whispered aloud. A knock at the door broke my thoughts. It's me, came my sister's voice, soft but insistent. I sighed. Come in. She stepped inside, eyes scanning the room. I heard what happened. I'm so sorry, she said. I waved her off, trying to sound calm. It's fine. I'm fine. No, you're not, she said firmly, dropping onto the chair beside me. I've known you too long to believe that. I looked down at my hands. I trusted her. I gave her everything. And she betrayed you, she finished, her voice gentle. I know it hurts. I replay everything, I said, voice tight. Every smile, every touch, every word. I keep asking myself what I missed. Was it something I did? It wasn't your fault, she said quietly. Sometimes people just change, or they're not who you thought they were. I shook my head, angry at the thought. Change. She pretended for months. Months. Every promise, every plan we made, all lies. She reached over, grabbing my hand. I know, I wish I could fix it for you. But you can't let her actions define who you are. I pulled my hand back, pacing. Define me. She's ruined everything. I can't even look at her stuff without feeling like my life was a joke. What about this? My mentor's voice startled me from the doorway. Mr. Harper leaned in, hands in his pockets, watching carefully. I saw you at the cafe yesterday. You looked lost. I am lost, I admitted. I trusted her. I thought we had everything. He nodded slowly. Betrayal cuts deep. I've seen it. But the question is, what will you do with that pain? What else can I do? I snapped, my voice sharp. She's with him, she lied. She laughed with me while stop, he interrupted gently. Anger will only eat you alive. You have a choice. You can let it destroy you, or you can use it to rebuild yourself. I sank back onto the bed, rubbing my face. Rebuild. I don't even know where to start. Every memory feels poisoned now. Look at this. I gestured to the photo. Everything we shared feels fake. It's not fake, my sister said quietly. The moments were real, but the person? Maybe not. That doesn't erase you, or your worth. I clenched the photo in my hand, letting my anger and hurt bubble up. I want to scream at her. I want her to feel the same emptiness I feel. I want revenge. Mr. Harper shook his head. Revenge can be tempting. Yes. But it rarely gives the peace you hope for. It's a trap. Focus on yourself first. Let the rest fall into place naturally. I laughed bitterly, tossing the photo onto the bed. Peace. I don't think I can even imagine peace right now. I just want her to hurt, like I hurt. You're human, my sister said softly, but hurting her won't heal you. Remember that. I rubbed my temples. I keep remembering the small things. Her laugh, the way she said my name, the notes she left for me. My voice cracked. They all feel like lies now. Not all of them were lies, Mr. Harper said. You shared moments that were real. Those memories belong to you. Don't let betrayal steal them. I slumped against the wall, the room feeling smaller with every thought. I don't know if I can forgive her. Part of me wants to, but another part, I just want to make sure she regrets it. Regret doesn't always come when you want it, Mr. Harper said. Focus on becoming stronger, on living well despite the betrayal. That's the real power. My sister leaned over, hugging me briefly. You'll get there. You're stronger than you think. I let her go, staring at the empty wall. I hope I can find myself again. I don't want to be someone defined by pain, but I need a plan. I can't just let this slide. Mr. Harper's eyes met mine. Then start small. Take control of what you can. One step at a time. The rest will follow. I nodded slowly, swallowing hard. One step at a time. I can do that. The room was silent for a moment, the weight of betrayal hanging thick in the air. I picked up the photo again, staring at Lena's face. One step at a time. And maybe someday, she'll see what she lost. And for the first time since it all began, I felt a flicker of something besides hurt, something sharp, determined. I wouldn't let her betrayal define me. I would survive this. I would rise. The rain hit my face before I even stepped outside, cold and relentless. I laughed without meaning to, like the world had finally decided to match the chaos in my head. Perfect, I muttered, letting the droplets soak through my shirt. Are you insane? A voice called out. I looked up to see a man holding an umbrella, giving me a confused, concerned look. "I don't care," I shouted over the rain, spinning in a circle. I need this." He raised an eyebrow. "Need what?" "To get sick." I shook my head, letting the water blind me for a moment. "No, to feel alive again. To stop thinking about her." My hands flailed, pointing toward the empty streets, as if they could swallow my frustration. "You've got a lot going on, huh?" he said cautiously, lowering his umbrella. "You have no idea," I said, voice shaking, though part of me wanted to explain everything. "Everything's ruined. I trusted someone, and it was all a lie." He tilted his head, studying me. "I'm not here to judge, just be careful." I nodded, though I didn't know what I was agreeing to. I kept moving, puddles splashing around my shoes, letting the storm wash something off me. Anything. I muttered to myself, more to anchor my thoughts than to speak to anyone. I can't let this break me. I can't. I have to fight back. Start over. A taxi slowed near the curb. "Hey, you okay there?" the driver shouted, rolling down the window. I laughed bitterly. "Yeah, I'm fine, just dancing in the storm." He blinked at me, then shrugged, and drove off. I watched him go, feeling a small spark of amusement. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe I didn't care. But it felt good. As I walked, I remembered something Mr. Harper said. Focus on yourself first. Let the rest fall into place naturally. I whispered it to myself like a mantra, letting the words settle in. Focus on me. Focus on me. I ducked into a small cafe, dripping water everywhere, and caught the eye of the barista. "Rough night?" she asked, tilting her head, curious but polite. "Yeah. Something like that," I said, forcing a smile. "Coffee, black. Please." She nodded, setting the cup down in front of me. "Take your time. Sounds like you could use it." I stared at the steam rising, thinking about Lena, the betrayal, the anger, the heartbreak. "I can't believe she did that," I muttered under my breath, "but I won't let her ruin me." Not completely. A young man sitting across from me spoke up. "You talking to yourself, or?" I blinked, caught off guard. "Just thinking." He smiled faintly. "I get that. Happens to me too. Life throws us storms sometimes." I chuckled softly. "Yeah, storms. I guess that's exactly it. My life literally and figuratively." "You've got spirit," he said. "Most people just hide. You face it." I leaned back, feeling a little warmth despite the chill. Maybe I'm just trying not to break completely. "Either way," he said, "you'll get through it. People like us. We find a way." I nodded, letting his words sink in. "Thanks. I think I needed that." The rain had slowed when I finally stepped back outside. I looked around, streets gleaming under the city lights, reflections dancing on the wet pavement. A small smile crept onto my face. The storm wasn't just outside anymore, it was inside, too, but I felt a shift. Control, maybe not complete, but enough to keep moving forward. I whispered to myself as I walked, letting the wet wind whip against me, one step at a time. Focus on me. Survive, thrive. And for the first time in days, I felt like I could. Somewhere across the city, Lena and the other guy were laughing, oblivious to the storm I had chosen to walk through. I let the thought pass, not with hatred, but with a quiet, simmering resolve. Karma has a way of finding its mark, and I would be ready when it did. I twirled once in a puddle, letting the rain soak me completely, laughing aloud. "I'm alive, and I'm not done yet." "I have a question," Mark said, tapping his pen against the mug. "Are you sure you want to go slow?" "I'm sure," I said, folding my hands so they wouldn't shake. "Slow is safer. Slow lets the truth breathe," he said. "You sound like a strategist now." "I sound like someone tired of being fooled," I replied. "There's a difference." Jenna leaned back. "So what's the move?" "Make people notice the gaps," I said. Let her own words contradict her story. Leave breadcrumbs. Ask public questions that force explanations. Public? Jenna's eyes widened. "Isn't that risky?" Only if we lie, I said. We're not lying. We're asking the right questions in the right places. Mara smiled too brightly. Ooh, I like drama. Who's keeping receipts? I am, I said. But I won't weaponize anything. I want people to see inconsistency, not sensationalize it. Mark nodded. Okay. Office first. Social later. In meetings, I'll ask about timelines, signatures, vendor approvals, I explained. I know which projects she touched. I know the nights she claimed to be at her desk. How do you nudge without sounding obsessive? Jenna asked. Casual, I said. A raised eyebrow here, a neutral question there. Not accusatory. Just curious, Mara laughed. You're like a detective now. I'm tired of cute, I muttered. This is about respect. That night alone, I spread notes across my kitchen table, dates, emails, screenshots, party lists. I circled overlaps where her story and evidence didn't match. I felt oddly calm, like the chaos had a purpose. You look different, my sister said over the phone. Sharper, I made up my mind, I said. I won't be a footnote in someone else's story. Don't become someone you won't like, she warned. Revenge can eat you. I'm not doing revenge for revenge. I want clarity. I want truth, I said. Mr. Harper's words echoed in my head. Use pain as fuel, not as a weapon. I repeated it like a litany. The next day. During our weekly review, I waited for the right moment. Lena presented a campaign with her usual polish. I raised my hand. Lena, can you walk us through the vendor sign-off on slide 3? I asked, voice steady. She smiled, practiced. Sure, we finalized with Coastal on the 15th after Alex approved the scope. The email chain shows Alex's approval on the 12th. Did the timeline shift? I asked, her smile flickered. I must have been mistaken. Maybe I misread the dates. Easy to do, someone joked. Laughter scattered. I watched her face tighten. After the meeting, Jenna caught me by the coffee machine. Nice work, she said softly. I didn't say anything too loud, I replied. You planted a seed, she said. People will check. They'll notice. At lunch, Mara passed by my desk. I heard Lena skipped the charity gala last week. Wonder why. Did she tell anyone why? I asked. Mara shrugged. She said she had a work emergency. But you know how those emergencies sometimes are. Sometimes they are, I agreed thinly. I let the comment settle. People started asking others. Small questions led to forwarded messages, to quiet double checks. Then there was Damien. I found him laughing in a bar. The man in the photos. I approached him, controlled. Do you feel guilty? I asked. He laughed. Guilty? About what? About being the other man, I said. About someone else believing in her, he scoffed. She chose me. That's on her. Choices have consequences, I said. He walked away. Small things began to shift. A colleague forwarded me a thread where Lena was vague about approvals. Another friend mentioned seeing her at a cafe late while she claimed to be at a volunteer event. I logged everything methodically. Some nights I lay awake debating ethics. Am I becoming petty? I asked the dark. You're protecting yourself, I said aloud. You're inviting scrutiny, not rumors. Mr. Harper, let the truth surface naturally. Be patient. I tried to be patient. One morning, an email thread surfaced where Lena's account didn't match her claims. Someone forwarded it to the team with a wary note. Heads turned. I felt the air shift. Are you okay? Jenna whispered later. It will get messy, I said. Let it. I want to see her answer. She will have to explain. People will start asking more than I dared. That afternoon, Mark and I met at a diner. Progress? He asked, lifting his mug. Small wins, I said. People are asking. She stammers when details don't align. Good, he nodded. Keep it steady? No theatrics. Got it, I said. No theatrics. My phone buzzed. A message from Damien. You okay? Heard things. I typed back. I'm fine. You. I didn't need his answer. I needed patience. Later, I saw Lena across the square, laughing with someone. I walked toward her, thudding. Lena, I said, calm. She glanced up, surprise flitting across her face. Hey, you'll have to explain some things soon, I told her, voice quiet. She looked away. I don't owe you an explanation. Maybe I said, but others might ask. I stared at my pinned notes that night and felt something like control, hard-earned, quiet, and not yet complete. The seeds had been sown. Now, I watched the garden for the first shoots of truth. I walked into the office Monday morning feeling lighter than I had in weeks. The storm inside me hadn't vanished, but it had shifted into focus control. I smiled faintly at Mark as he passed my desk. Everything set for today? He asked. Yes, I said, voice steady. Time to see what unfolds. By mid-morning, the first cracks appeared. Lena walked into the meeting room, radiant as ever, trying to be. Good morning, everyone, she said, her voice smooth, rehearsed. I raised my hand casually. Lena, about the R&D report. The figures for Q2, can you clarify some discrepancies? Her smile faltered, just slightly. Discrepancies? She asked, glancing at her laptop. Yes, the vendor costs, I said. Some invoices don't match your summary. She hesitated, fingers fidgeting over the keyboard. I must have misread the totals. I'll fix it, of course, I said lightly, tilting my head. We just need to be precise. Mara, leaning against the wall, whispered to Jenna. She's slipping. Jenna smirked. About time. Later, at lunch, Damien called her, voice raised in annoyance. What's going on? I saw the email thread. People are asking questions. Why didn't you clear this first? I thought I had, she replied, panic rising beneath the surface. Thought? Lena, you need to be exact. I overheard it all from the hallway, just enough to savor the tension without interfering. My chest tightened, slightly satisfaction mingled with the faintest sting of memory. Back at my desk, Mark leaned over. She's unraveling. You did this quietly, and everyone noticed before she realized. I know, I said. It's not about humiliation, it's about truth being undeniable. By mid-afternoon, the office buzz shifted. Lena's friends approached her cautiously. Are you okay? Someone asked. I'm fine, she said, but her eyes betrayed her. She's scared, Jenna whispered beside me, and that fear is honest. You're good at this. I didn't answer. Watching Lena falter was bittersweet. I still felt hurt, but control was intoxicating. That evening, I met Mr. Harper at the cafe. I heard the office stories, he said. How do you feel? Relieved, I admitted. But it doesn't erase the past. I'm stronger, but I'm haunted too. That's natural, he said. Don't confuse empowerment with vengeance. You've reclaimed yourself, the rest is consequence. I nodded. I want her to see that her lies don't protect her anymore. Sometimes people crumble without you touching them, he said. It's enough to be the observer of truth. The next day, a small group of colleagues gathered near the printer. Did you see the vendor approvals? One asked Lena, curiosity sharp. Lena's smile was tight. Yes, of course. I handled everything properly. Someone said, showing her a printout. Because these dates don't match. Her composure cracked, just a fraction, but enough for everyone to notice. She swallowed hard, searching for words. I'll explain later. Later that week, at a team social, Damien flinched when I entered. Oh hey, he said, casual, but I saw the tension. Evening, I said, voice calm. Enjoying the event. He laughed nervously. Yeah, sure. Everything's fine. I tilted my head, letting silence fill the space. He shifted. Look, Lena didn't mean to. Not my concern, I said softly. I'm focused on the truth. He exhaled. I see, fair enough. Walking home that night, I let the events replay in my head. Small victories, subtle exposure, whispers of doubt spreading among her friends. My lips curved slightly. Vindication, yes, but the ache of betrayal still lingered. At home, I found a letter from my sister. Proud of you, it read. You're reclaiming yourself without losing yourself. Remember that I held it for a long time. I'm trying, I whispered. But the past. It doesn't let go easily. Mark called later. You did it, he said. Everyone's noticing cracks. Lena's defenses are failing. Good, I said quietly, but it doesn't feel complete yet. I'm watching, waiting. Patiently, even as I celebrated the small triumphs, memories of her laughter and our moments together lingered. The satisfaction of witnessing her panic was tempered by grief I couldn't shake. Revenge is a double-edged sword. It burns in others, but it burns inside you too. I sent a brief text to Jenna, keep observing. Don't push too hard. Her reply came quickly, got it. She's faltering. You're steady. I smiled faintly, leaning back. Steady, I murmured. That's what I need to be. Not consumed, not reckless, just steady. The storm had shifted. I was no longer the person crushed by betrayal. I was aware, cautious, and in control. But the remnants of love and heartbreak still clung to me. And as I looked at my reflection in the window, lights from the city flickering like distant stars, I whispered, this is only the beginning. The tide is turning, and I will rise fully. Whether she sees it or not, I found them in the small cafe where Lena always claimed she came to think clearly. I stepped in, umbrella dripping, and saw her sitting across from Damien. Their coffee, untouched. Lena, I said. Voice low but steady. She looked up, eyes widening, searching for excuses. I didn't expect you here. Didn't expect me. I echoed, setting my bag down. I've been here, in your absence, in your lies. Didn't expect me? Damien stiffened, hands gripping his cup. Look, you don't what? I cut in, letting my gaze slide over him. You don't care? You don't understand. You don't see what you did? Lena's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Save it, I said, my voice hard. I have everything I need. Your emails, your excuses, the dates you lied about, every little thing you thought I wouldn't notice. She paled. You have them. I do, I said. And I brought them here, in case you thought your charm could still sway anyone. Damien leaned back, smirk fading. Wait, you're going to expose us? I'm not exposing, I said slowly. I'm showing truth. And truth doesn't need embellishment. You can't, Lena said, desperation creeping in. We can fix this. Please, I shook my head, holding up a letter she had once given me. The one I'd kept folded in my coat pocket. This, I asked, all your promises, all your words. Meaningless now. I returned them. I placed it on the table, pushing it toward her. Her hand trembled. Please, don't too late, I said. It's not about punishment. It's about clarity. You can't rewrite the past, Lena. You can't unmake what you broke. Damien finally spoke, voice tight. You're insane. This is ridiculous. You didn't care, I said, cutting him off. Every smile, every plan, every I love you, it was a performance. And now, everyone who matters knows it, or will, in time. Lena's eyes shimmered with tears. I never meant to hurt you. I didn't know. I repeated, voice raw. You lied. You chose deception over honesty. And now you see the cost. You see fear. You see regret. And it's not mine anymore, it's yours. Damien leaned forward. You think you're clever, but this is nothing. People will forget. She'll forget. You'll just watch closely, I said, voice steady. They won't forget. Your arrogance made you careless. Every ally you have now doubts you. Every excuse falls flat. Every lie leaves a trace. Lena covered her face, shaking. I didn't know it would. It's too late. It's always too late when trust is destroyed, I said quietly. Too late when the person you betrayed finally sees you clearly. I opened my bag and took out a small box. The gift she gave me on our first anniversary. A symbol of a love that never truly existed. I placed it on the table, closing it softly. And this belongs to the past. I keep memories that are true, not ones built on manipulation. Her shoulders slumped. Damien's jaw tightened, but neither of them said a word. The air hung heavy with shame and fear. You have questions? I asked. Ask them. I'll answer with truth. Lena shook her head, barely able to speak. I don't deserve it. Perhaps not, I said. But facing the consequences is better than hiding in false comfort. Look at yourselves honestly. This is the reflection of what choice and deception bring. Damien finally muttered, voice hoarse. We didn't think. Exactly, I said. You didn't think. That's the downfall. Carelessness, arrogance, selfishness, they all collapse eventually. I felt the old ache in my chest, memories of laughter and warmth with Lena, but it no longer clouded my vision. I was aware, hardened, but not consumed. I wanted closure, I said, not vengeance. Vengeance tastes bitter if it's the only ingredient. Clarity, that's what heals. Lena wiped tears away, voice trembling. Can we ever know? I said softly. We can't go back. But you can move forward. Learn from this. Understand what you lost. That's all I ask. Damien's shoulders sagged. We messed up. Yes, I said. And now you feel it, truly. Let that feeling teach you. I stood, placing my coat over my shoulders. I won't look back. I won't ruin myself with anger anymore. I'm moving forward. Stronger, aware, free. Lena's gaze followed me, desperate, pleading. Damien's scowl was now fear-stricken. Both understood they couldn't repair the damage. Not fully. Not ever. I paused at the door, glancing back one last time. The storm has passed for me, I said. For you. It's only begun. Outside, the rain had started, soft and cleansing. I let it wash over me, letting the past fall away, leaving only strength and awareness. I had confronted them, seen truth reflected in their eyes, and finally realized it wasn't revenge that healed me. It was understanding, control, and letting go. The storm had ended. I walked forward. I stood on the rooftop, rain dripping from my hair, the city lights blurred through the mist. I took a deep breath. I made it through, I whispered to no one in particular. Jenna's voice came through my phone speaker. You sound calm. I am, I said. Stronger than I thought I could be. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted to survive myself. She chuckled softly. I always knew you'd find your way. Hard truths, soft hearts, somehow you balance both. I'm learning, I said. It wasn't easy letting go of anger. I thought I needed it to move forward, but it just weighed me down. Good, she replied. You've earned this. I can hear it in your voice piece, maybe even hope. I think so, I admitted. It's strange. I'm still haunted by memories, but they don't control me anymore. I can look at them, acknowledge the hurt, and choose not to dwell. Mark's voice joined, a little hesitant. Are you really okay? I'm okay, I said firmly. Better than okay. I've rebuilt myself from ashes, Mark. Every lie, every betrayal. It shaped me, but it didn't break me. Not fully. You sound unshakable, he said, almost in awe. Not unshakable, I corrected. Aware, I can feel pain, but I also know my limits. I won't let anyone cross them again. A moment of silence followed. Then Jenna asked softly, So, what now? I smiled faintly, rain falling over my face. Now I live. I focus on myself, my work, my friends. I help where I can. I stop trying to control everyone else's life, including theirs. Even after everything? She asked. Especially after everything, I said, because I realized it's not about getting even. It's about getting free. Mark chuckled quietly. And the storm? Still out there? I glanced at the dark clouds above. The storm will always be there, but I'm walking out of it now. I'm choosing clarity over chaos, growth over grudges. You're inspiring, Jenna said. Even over the phone, I can feel it. You're different, I echoed. I've shed pieces of myself that belonged to the past, the part that depended on validation from them. I still feel, but I feel for me now. A soft knock came at my door later. It was my sister, umbrella in hand. I brought tea, she said, smiling. And maybe some hope too, if you need it. Hope is all I need, I said, taking the cup. Thank you. She looked at me with careful eyes. You're calm, really calm. Is this what freedom feels like? Yes, I said. It's not loud. Not dramatic. It's quiet. Bittersweet, but real. I don't need closure from them, I have it within me. I'm proud of you, she whispered. I nodded, letting the warmth of the tea ground me. I had to face the truth. I had to face them, and myself, and now, I can finally breathe. Later that evening, I helped a young intern who had been struggling with a project. It's okay, I said. Mistakes happen. Learn from them, not beat yourself up. That's how growth works. She looked at me, eyes wide. You really mean that? I do, I said. I've been where you are. Afraid, hurt, uncertain. The difference is, I chose to rebuild, not collapse. As I walked home afterward, the rain slowed to a drizzle. I paused at a bench and let the damp air wash over me. I don't need revenge anymore, I murmured. I only needed myself. The city around me felt alive, distant yet inviting. The echoes of past love, betrayal, and heartbreak lingered, but they didn't weigh me down. I carried the lessons, the scars, and the strength forward. Mark's voice pinged one last time. Are you really done with this chapter? Yes, I replied. Done, but alive, stronger, awake. Jenna messaged back, welcome back to yourself. I smiled, phone in hand, and whispered to the night, I am back. The storm had ended. Not outside, not entirely. But inside me, it had cleared. I felt the rebirth in my bones, steady and undeniable. I took one last look at the skyline, memories fading like raindrops sliding down glass. Goodbye, I whispered softly, and thank you for teaching me who I am when no one else can define me. I walked away, letting the rain blur the past, leaving behind echoes of pain, fragments of love, and the ashes of who I used to be. Ahead, the city waited, and so did Ereborn, unbroken. Finally, free. I walked into the conference hall and froze for a second, spotting her on stage. Clara, the intern I had stayed late to help months ago. She was presenting her project, polished, confident, owning the room. I whispered to myself, she did it. Jenna's voice buzzed in my ear. Wow, she looks amazing. So confident, she's earned it, I said. I just nudged her. She carried herself all the way. Clara glanced toward the audience and noticed me. Her eyes lit up, a mixture of recognition and gratitude. She smiled and waved subtly. My chest warmed. That's enough reward, I muttered. After the presentation, I approached her. Clara, I said softly. She turned, surprised. You came up. I can't believe you're here. I wouldn't miss this, I said. You worked hard. You deserve it. She laughed, a little breathless. I almost didn't. I was scared. I thought I'd mess everything up. You thought, I said, and that's the difference. You tried anyway. That courage matters more than perfection. I remember your advice, she said, eyes glimmering, about learning, not fearing mistakes, about rebuilding confidence. I used it every day. I smiled. That's all I needed to hear. You turned it into your own power. Clara's voice dropped. I was thinking, I wanted to thank you properly, for trusting me when no one else did. You don't need to thank me, I said. Helping you helped me too. Showed me that not all influence has to destroy or manipulate. Sometimes, guidance can be pure. She nodded, taking a deep breath. It feels right, like I'm finally moving forward. I looked at her, feeling a quiet satisfaction. That's the ripple, I said. Actions we take small, unseen can set things in motion that karma or fate will honor in their own way. Clara tilted her head. You mean, what happened with Lena? I exhaled, bittersweetly. Lena. That's water under the bridge. She taught me lessons I never wanted to learn. But the right path now isn't revenge, it's growth, helping you, guiding you. It reminds me what true impact looks like. She smiled shyly. I hope I can be that for someone else someday. You will, I said firmly. And that's the point. We're all connected by choices, good or bad. You made the right ones. We walked toward the exit together, rain beginning to fall outside. I paused and glanced back toward the city lights. Memories of Lena flickering like distant lightning. The ache was there, faint, a whisper of the past, but it didn't linger. I was aware, not trapped. Jenna's text buzzed, proud of you. You're finally free. I typed back, I think so. Watching Clara, seeing her succeed, it's proof that balance exists, karma, or just life, finds its way. Clara laughed softly. I owe you one. You don't owe anyone, I said. Just keep moving forward. Let the past stay behind you, like I'm doing. We stepped into the drizzle. I let the water mix with the lingering warmth in my chest. The ache of memory slowly fading, replaced by hope and quiet purpose. Do you ever think about her? Clara asked cautiously, sensing my reflection. Sometimes, I admitted, but thinking doesn't mean dwelling. The past exists to teach, not to trap. Lena, her chapter closed when I decided to rise. My story continues. She nodded, understanding. I get it. I think I've been carrying my own doubts too long. You'll learn to set them down, I said, and in the process, you'll discover the strength you didn't know you had. The wind picked up, scattering droplets around us. I inhaled, feeling the pulse of life, fragile but undeniable. The city moved, people hustled, stories collided. Mine and Clara's intertwined briefly, proof that the smallest acts can create lasting waves. Thank you, she said again. I already told you, I said softly, smiling. No thanks needed, just make your own story. As we parted ways, I let the rain wash over me, letting go of lingering bitterness, letting in growth and clarity. The storm had passed, leaving behind clarity and possibility, and for the first time in months, I felt the quiet joy of a life unburdened. Ready to continue, tempered by lessons learned, tempered by hope, I stood at the edge of the empty park, rain-soaked grass under my shoes, puddles reflecting fractured lights from the street. The storm had ended hours ago, leaving behind only the quiet hum of the city and the lingering scent of wet earth. No one was around, no voices, no footsteps, just the soft whisper of wind through the trees, and for the first time in months, I felt complete solitude, not loneliness, but clarity. I closed my eyes, letting memories drift. Lena's laughter, the way she used to brush her hair from her face. Damien's smug satisfaction, the images no longer pricked with pain. They were distant, like shadows fading with dawn. I inhaled, feeling the air fill my lungs, a cool, cleansing clarity. I survived, I whispered to myself. I survived the lies, the betrayal, the anger. And I'm still standing. The city lights glimmered across the park like scattered stars. And I imagined the dance floor of my past. The storm where I had once let grief and rage consume me. Now, it was empty, silent. A place I no longer needed to inhabit. I remembered Clara, her success, her growth. A subtle smile tugged at my lips. Helping her reminded me that my choices could ripple, that not all outcomes needed vengeance. Some were quiet, indirect, meaningful. The ache in my chest was still there, faint, but softened. Love lost, lessons learned both etched into me. I accepted that I could carry them without being consumed, letting them shape me without defining me. I whispered her name, once Lena. No anger, no pleading, just recognition. She existed in my past, but not in my present. And that was enough. A stray leaf floated past, caught in the wind. I watched it drift before settling into a puddle. The image struck me delicate, solitary, yet moving forward without resistance. That was me now. I was the leaf, flowing, aware, free. The street lamps flickered, and I realized how quiet the world had become. The storm had cleared not only outside, but within me. My heart felt lighter, my mind still, my spirit at ease. I thought of Mark and Jenna, their voices echoing in my mind. Support, friendship, patience. They were my anchors. I had learned that love and care didn't always come wrapped in romance or drama. Sometimes it was steady, quiet, enduring. I took a step forward, puddles splashing softly around my feet, and felt the cool water wash away the final remnants of resentment. A sunbeam pierced the clouds in the distance, cutting through grayness like hope itself. I let it touch my face. I am enough, I murmured. I am whole. I am free. The city stirred in the distant cars moving, people returning to their lives. But here, in the silence, I felt the calm of resolution. I was alone, but not lonely. I had shed the weight of betrayal and grief, leaving only wisdom, strength, and quiet courage. I smiled faintly at the empty park. The storm had taught me more than I could have imagined. Pain, loss, love, they were all teachers. And now, I could step forward without carrying the storm inside me. The puddles reflected the first hints of sunlight. I let the silence wrap around me, embraced the calm, and whispered, "Thank you for everything, and goodbye for everything else." I walked away, leaving the storm behind, leaving the shadows of the past where they belonged. Ahead lay quiet streets, empty benches, and the soft promise of a new day. And I was ready to meet it.